coming in.
Hey, Coach, we'll get started with questions from Kent. Kent, go ahead.
So how does it feel to be the second coach in WNBA history to have a team not shoot a free throw during the course of a game?
And the other team lost, so it feels great. The other team lost. And, we got to figure that out because that is absolutely ridiculous. They had, 2 more fouls than Lasia Clarendon on the game. 2 more fouls. They had 8 fouls. Lasia had 6. So we got to figure that out. I got to be a better coach and figure out how to get to the damn foul line. We're playing in the paint. I just don't get it.
And yet, even with that, your defense was so strong tonight that even when things weren't necessarily going your way offensively, they just couldn't find a rhythm.
They couldn't. Yeah, I was really happy. I thought Dantas did a really nice job on Asia. She couldn't get anything going. I just thought overall we were pretty locked in, and as best we could. The one and done. I know they had 11 offensive rebounds, but overall I thought we were pretty hard to play against. The first quarter was obviously the key to the game. Damiris Dantas got us off to just a tremendous start. Really good game for Didi. It was unfortunate she got in foul trouble, but she got us off to the great start and allowed us to have such a great quarter.
And then Clarendon late, they just weren't willing to let you guys, did everything you could ask to maintain that lead down the stretch.
Yeah, Lasia was incredible. They put their focus on Sil and Fee, and just as she did in the first meeting, you put her in pick and roll and you don't guard her. They're very, very comfortable there. And Lasia was big for us because we didn't have a lot going elsewhere, and we needed that what Lay gave us. The 9 assists, the 5 rebounds. She was just really, really tough. Really, really great game.
Your team is now won 6 straight. It's the hottest team in the league, but only one more game before the break. Is there a little part of you that wishes that you could just keep playing?
Not at all. Not at all.
Thanks.
Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Cheryl. So in 2 games you've held Asia to 13 of 39 shooting, 33%. What's gone into that? And then, now that your team has proven that they can slow down an MVP, how do you harness that and carry it with you through the second half of the season and into the playoffs?
Well, it's not crazy, get too crazy. She had 28. And then last time we played them, she had 28. But struggled to find her way. In this game, I thought we made, things relatively difficult. Just making her catches hard. And I thought we supported Dantas or whoever was guarding her. I thought we supported her pretty well. I thought her ball pressure was decent. So, it was just, and I think not having Cam Beige probably affected her a little bit, because you could focus a little bit more on Asia. But yeah, Asia's a great player. And, I think the big thing is, while they got, 19 more free throws than we did, it was still only 19 free throws. That was well below their average. But it was 19 more than the Minnesota Lynx had. We had 0.
You're now 11-3 with Lasia Clarendon in the lineup this season. She scored 38 points on 19 of 31 shooting against the Aces this season. Just with having Sil in the paint and teams kind of playing deeper drop, just how does his mid-range game open up your team's offense?
Yeah, that's Lasia's wheelhouse. I remember trying to guard Lay, when they were playing for New York last year in the bubble. They just put you in a bind. If you stay back and you kind of play 2 and you worry about the big, Lay does exactly what you saw tonight. Just that nice little sweet 8-foot pull up. You step up at all. Her timing is really good to find a post, but it seemed like the choice tonight was for Lay to take a bunch of shots. And their decision making was really good. Didn't always settle for the jumper. Got all the way to the rim, and definitely Lay was the player of the game. Their physical toughness, pushing through, being tired, Lasia exemplifies everything you'd want, in terms of toughness and thinking the game, organizing us. There's just a really good sense about what we're trying to get done when Leisha's on the floor.
And then last one for me. Early in the season, it felt like if Fee had a tough night, that you guys were losing and losing by double digits. She has a tough one tonight, but again, you beat the Aces by 10 at their place. What do you think the biggest difference has been for your team, especially offensively, that's enabled that growth from other players?
Well, I just think, I thought K-Mac, had some really good stretches, timely three ball off of an execution. Syl wasn't a historic performance, but you still had to pay a lot of attention to Syl. We were still getting her the ball in good places. It was established in the first quarter. You had to go guard Dantas. And so then what happens is you now have, Lay being able to take advantage. So I think the balance of what we got done is what made us a little more hard to play against. You had to make choices what you were doing defensively.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go last question to Kent. Kent, go ahead.
Yeah, can you give us an update on Crystal? It looked like she hurt that shoulder going into that pick by Wilson. Is she doing okay? And can you give us an update on what happened there?
Was the pick legal from what you could see on TV?
It appeared that Wilson was moving.
Yeah. So that's what's really unfortunate. An illegal screen injures a player. And I don't know the update on Crystal. Obviously, she was out for the game. But I know she was in a lot of pain. And like I said, we just got to figure out how we can. I don't know. Maybe we're too nice. Maybe we got to do a little more. Get a little more animated, a little more antics with the officials, and not settle because it's not working what we're doing. So we're gonna make a change. So maybe we're gonna start complaining about everything and see if we can get some calls.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks.
Hey, Kayla, we'll get started with questions from Kent. Kent, go ahead.
How did it feel playing in front of your old home crowds, and how sweet was it to come out of this with a sixth straight victory?
Yeah, no, definitely a great game for us. Weird situation with not having any free throws, but I was proud of our toughness. Not easy to play in this gym, this arena, especially on the road. So, yeah, I was proud. I mean, it felt good. I could definitely feel the love from the fans. But it was about the dub for us, and we got one more before Olympic break.
Just talk about the defense tonight, holding them to about 35% shooting. They were never really able to find their rhythm, and after you took that quick first lead, you never trailed again.
Yeah, I think Didi got us off to a great start, knocking down some shots, and we just kind of fed off that. It was about us getting back in transition. We gave up a couple late ones in the end of the first half. I thought we cleaned it up. I thought we made it really hard for Asia and everybody else, and then we just kind of got out and did our thing on the offensive end. But stringing stops in a row against this team is tough. So I thought we did a great job. We were relentless in multiple efforts. So and that's what you have to do against a team like this. You have to have multiple efforts on the defensive end. That we cleaned up pretty well. And we did what we had to do. It was a weird, ugly game, but that's sometimes how it is on the road. And I thought we were really resilient, tough, and we stayed together through and through.
They made it pretty clear pretty early that they didn't want Fee or Syl to beat them. I thought Clarendon really stepped into that void and kind of took advantage of that game plan. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, Lay was a force. I don't think they had an answer for their pick and roll. She was able to be really physical and make them have to adjust. They started to ice, and Lay just kept making moves, getting the ball where it needed to go, finding her own shot. I thought it was great. That's what you need on the road is everybody to step up. Fee struggled a little bit. Myself, whatever the case may be. That's what it takes to win on the road. Team effort. Lay stepped up for us against them last game as well. So I thought she just had a repeat performance and really controlled the game on both ends of the floor.
Thank you.
Danny, go ahead.
Hey, K-Mac, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Awesome, I'm great too. I was wondering, what do you think it says about the team's play on both ends of the floor that you were still able to come out with such a decisive win after, that 19-0 field goal attempt deficit you mentioned?
I mean, just resilient, tough. You know, we know there's going to be ebb and flow throughout the game, and we're kind of able to figure out and maneuver ways to just get it done. I mean, it's not always easy. This is the best league in the world. We know that, and just trying to get stops where we can, string stops together, and just always get back to our identity and who we are. I think that we always have we end up coming back to this calm about us, and you can feel that. You can feel that in the bench. You can feel that in the huddles. We're slowly figuring out exactly who we are. Our identity is slowly but surely coming through, and we're just finding ways to win. And I think that's really hard in this league. It's hard to get wins in this league, period, let alone on the road. So I think it just shows our toughness, our resiliency, leadership, Sophie, coach, everybody, and just finding ways to win. Yeah, and that's what it's about.
Thanks, K-Mac.
Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Kayla. Early in the season, it felt like if Fee had a tough night, you guys were losing by double digits. She has a tough one tonight. Obviously, beat the number 2 team in the W by 10 at their place. What do you think the biggest difference is for you guys offensively that has enabled you to overcome those tough nights and still have resounding wins like tonight?
It's just trusting each other. People step up. We know Fee and Sarah are going to get a lot of attention. I thought Didi did a great job coming out, being confident, letting that thing fly. BC coming in, giving us solid minutes at all times. Jess came in, I thought gave us great minutes. Just finding other ways to score. Like I said, Lay's been so consistent for us. So it's just finding ways. She can't be everything we need her to be all the time, every night. She's human. So just finding ways to step up for her. And she'll find her way in other ways. I thought that she has a couple great possessions at the end of the game. She's always going to rebound and play hard. So just finding ways to pick up the slack. And I thought we did a great job of that tonight.
You've played with and against a lot of great guards in your career all over the world. What does it feel like to play with such a smooth operator like Lay, who can do anything you need from scoring to rebounding to setting the table?
I think that the biggest thing with Lay is their experience and their poise. Never too high, never too low. Not everything always goes their way, but always able to kind of come back and find that calm. And it's contagious, when you have a point guard who's able to maneuver the way she is and get to their spots and kind of control the tempo. Everybody else is able to calm and kind of settle into the game. So I think they do a great job of that. And fortunate to have her. Thankful to have her.
And it feels like at the highest level of basketball, no matter where you go, every top contending team has a top tier point guard. How can his play be a separator for your team as a whole in the second half, and then hopefully into the playoffs?
Like I said, I think it's just about the poise, the experience, them being a vet, being in this league for a long time. That's half the battle, So we're thankful to have them, and just going to continue to grow around her. And, hopefully we'll get some people back from injury and fill in some other voids that we have and just kind of go from there. But, when they're able to control the tempo the way they did tonight on both ends of the floor, it makes it really easy for us to kind of fall into place. So super happy to have Lay and fortunate that she's playing the way she is.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Great. Thank you, Kayla. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Is the audio on?
She's muted right now. Giving them a second.
All right, everybody, I have Lay with me.
Hey, ladies, a nice game tonight. We'll get started with questions from Kent. Kent, go ahead.
Yeah, it seemed pretty obvious pretty quickly that the Aces had decided they weren't going to let Collier or Fowles beat them tonight. And it seems like you kind of stepped into that void. I mean, how quickly did you become aware of what you were going to have to do tonight to get this offense going?
I guess kind of quick. I mean, I think I thought they would take the pull up away a little bit more this game, but they didn't. So I knew I just had to be aggressive.
Kayla was saying that one of the biggest things you bring to this team is just a sense of calm that helps the team when it's going through a tough stretch. It doesn't get too down and doesn't get too kind of crazy when things are going well. Is that just experience, or is that something you've always had?
I think I've always had it to a sense, but I think you gain it with experience. Like I didn't do that as a rookie because I was flustered and I was like 100 pounds trying to play point guard. So I think it definitely comes with experience, being a veteran, being stronger. You know, those things you learn just from playing those game minutes.
So the team is what, 11-3 since you joined them. I know you talked a little bit about how well you feel you fit with this team, particularly with a great center like Syl. But I mean, what in your mind? I mean, is that the only reason, or why is it you think that your skill set fits this team so well?
I think this team had like a lot of really good pieces and just needed a little bit of glue, and that's what I bring, just like the calm and the poise, and it's knowing when to pick my time to score, when to just get the ball where it needs to go. So again, I think it's credit to all the pieces we have, like 4 Olympians on this team, a veteran coach, 3 other coaches who've played at a high level with a lot of experience. So I think the pieces just fit really well together.
Thank you.
Danny, go ahead.
Haley, great game tonight. What do you think it says about this team's performance on both ends of the floor that you were able to come out with such a decisive win despite the stark differential and feel what?
I said despite shooting no free throws.
Yeah, despite all that.
I think it just shows like toughness and resilience, and a team with some really good veteran, a team that's learning how to win on the road, especially where you just have to grind games out, where like it was ugly at times, it didn't feel great. You know, our typical maybe stars didn't have the best games they normally do, but like we just found a way to win, and that's what this league is. Like I love it. Cheryl always says there's no asterisk next to like, you know, we didn't get this or that the way we wanted the game to go. It's either a win or a loss, and I think that's what we're learning, just like how to win in this league. No matter what, you got to grind out games.
Awesome. And can you talk a bit about how K-Mac's performances over these last few games have been helping the team?
They've been awesome. That other piece that she just spaces the floor so well has been huge. You know, we played against like Quigley, we played against Raquana type players. And so seeing that like she can be that type of player that just makes it a nightmare for defenses that have to guard her off of a flare and then guard her off of a pin down. And then you step up on her and she hits the post player behind you. So it's been huge. It's been another target for me to find. She's a very capable player, still developing a lot too. Like she still has so much more growth and ways to score when she starts to use her shot ability against people. So I'm excited, and I see a lot more growth for her and opportunity, and like the chemistry that we're building together. So I'm really happy for her, and it's definitely fueled our team. You know, it takes off the pressure of just Syl and B constantly have to scoring inside every single night.
And then 7 assists for you in that first quarter. That's your career high for assists in a quarter. Could you just take us inside what went into that a little bit?
They weren't guarding Didi, so I was literally like at practice just passing her the ball. I was like, are they going to guard her? And it was pretty easy.
Great answer. Thanks so much, Lay.
All right, we'll go last one to Jack. Jack, go ahead.
Hey, Lay, so you've had your 2 best scoring games of the season come against the Aces this year, combined 38 points on 61% shooting. What specifically have you seen from their defense that you've looked to attack and has kind of enabled you to pick your spots there?
I mean, their bigs like don't really want to get up, so that's a dream for someone who likes to play in the mid-range game, and they haven't really adjusted to me, because then of course, you know, we're gonna get Syl and Fee rolling behind them, so that's easy for me to just get to my spots where I want to go.
And then just like you were saying there, just overall, if you could explain kind of what the value for an offense of having a point guard like yourself that's a shooting threat out in the mid-range off the pick and roll, how does that open up the floor for everybody else on the team?
I think having a point guard that can get like 2 feet in the paint, because that's how you collapse defenses. And so even when I'm not, you know, going to be baited into taking the outside shot when I don't want to, I still have the ability to get into the paint and be really poised and be like persistent in getting to the spots I want to go. And so anytime you get into the paint, it forces rotations. And so that's the way you break defenses down. And then just being heady and smart and finding who's open at that point, whether it's me or it's still over the top or kicking out to Didi or whoever.
And then it seems like in the last couple games, especially, that you've done a really good job fighting over screens, and K-Mac's been up the line really well. When you're playing against a team like Las Vegas, who has, really dominant interior post presences, what's it like to just be in a rhythm with kind of shutting off the perimeter so they don't have any offensive options or can't really get in a rhythm offensively?
It's good. I mean, we know, like, specifically with Vegas, they want to score inside, so we couldn't let like Chelsea or Plum go off, because then they're going to get the team going. So I mean, it's credit Cheryl. She just yells at us all game. She's over here in the room, so I'm really mad. She just yells at us constantly. I hear her like, get up, Blake, get through the screen. So that's just us doing our job, those guards. Like, we have to relieve our bigs. We can't rely on them to constantly get baited, into stopping the ball. So we just got to get through screens.
Awesome. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you, Leisha. Have a great rest of your night.